Hey there, Flo here with another Bible reading. Getting a later start than I planned to because I was messing around with stream stuff. But anyway, yeah, do a quick prayer and then get started. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for getting me through and helping me to get something done. And pray that you would be made known and your salvation would become clear and effective in people's hearts. Pray that people would turn to you in these last days before the end, and that you would be glorified in everything that happens. Pray that you would help me to read your word clearly and help us to learn more about you. Thank you for all this. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, Elamin. How are you doing? All right. And Alameen. All right, so today we're going to be reading mostly Psalms, chapter 131, 138, 139, 143 to 145, and 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Amen. What, to the prayer? It was like 10 minutes ago. Just kidding. But howdy, Dale. All right. Yeah, let's get going. Yeah, I'll do the talkity vlog thing at the beginning instead of the end because I sometimes forget what I'm gonna say. I don't really have a lot to say, but today I did massive amounts of laundry. That's all I did today. I didn't even finish, but I was way behind, so yeah. Thank you for that IRL stream the other day. It was very interesting. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to join me. It's good. Especially the chipmunk thing at the end. Mr. Mountain Goat, yeah. I wish I could get the video to stabilize a little bit better. Like, there's those situations where it's obvious that the cell signal is strong enough, but I don't know, I guess that app that I use just isn't able to always take advantage of the signal or whatever. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to, so yeah, basically just did laundry. My sleep schedule's messed up as always, but maybe not quite as much as it always. Didn't have issues with the stream signal. It was stable. Yeah, but it wasn't good. Like the video quality wasn't good. It was going up and down. Like, yeah, there was a signal. Like the stream didn't go down that much. But that's just because of the technology I'm using. Like, even if there's zero video signal, the stream doesn't go down the way I do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it looks good. I always want it to look decent. But it's one of those things I can't really do a whole lot about, but anything that I can do. There's a ton of settings in the apps that I use, and so I always wonder if maybe there's some super great set of settings that makes it more stable or something. I don't know, but probably not. I did change a couple things that might make a difference next time I stream, but probably not a lot. So above comment looks like, yeah, no, it's pointless. There's a lot of those spam garbage follow bots going around the internet these days. I don't even acknowledge them. I just don't even respond because they're just wasting everybody's time. But yeah, I get a ton of those on Rumble. I'm getting them on Kick now, and I actually got a huge follow bot on Twitch that I still can't get rid of. Twitch has absolutely no customer service, like less than zero. Like every platform aside from YouTube has at least some form of customer service. Twitch has none whatsoever. There is no customer service. The only way you get customer service on Twitch is if you're a partner, and a big partner at that. It's very irritating. There's no Discord. There's no nothing. There's no place to go where you can ask questions, or there's nothing like that. It just doesn't exist on Twitch. They don't listen to streamers. Even though it's in their best interest, they have a worthless follower bot on Twitch that just spams people with fake follows. And me being an honest person, I want to get all of those followers removed, which there is no way to do that on Twitch. Literally every platform, on every other platform, there'd be a way to talk to staff or some technical support. Not on Twitch. So it's very annoying. Yeah, they're just like on every platform now. I guess some bot software writers found a loophole. They realized, oh, nobody polices this, so let's start doing this everywhere. It's really irritating. But, oh well, just ignore it. I was atheist until age 22, then eyes opened and studied Bible intently. Very cool. Very cool. I don't have much of a story, honestly, for my life. Pretty tame, uninteresting. I'm enjoying your Bible readings lately. Nice. Cool. Speaking of which, I think I will get into that. Start off with Psalm 131, which is apparently only 3 verses long. It's like, wait, what? There's only one screen for this? Let me double check. That seems weird. Psalm 131. Let's check. Make sure I didn't. Nope, that's right. Okay. Shortest psalm ever. Psalm 131. My heart is not proud, O Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not aspire to great things or matters too lofty for me. Surely I have stilled and quieted my soul. Like a weaned child with his mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me. O Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forever. I think verse 1 I've pretty much said on my stream, at least verse 1b, I think I've said on my stream quite a few times. I do not aspire to great things or matters too lofty for me. I think that's my motto. I don't know if I'd say the first part though, because that once you say something like that, then you're open for attack. It's like, I'm not proud. Boom. But the second part, I think I can say safely. Yeah. All right, let's go on to Psalm 138. I give you thanks with all my heart. Before the gods I sing your praises. I bow down toward your holy temple and give thanks to your name. For your loving devotion and your faithfulness. You have exalted your name and your word above all else. On the day I called, you answered me. You emboldened me and strengthened my soul. All the kings of the earth will give you thanks, O Lord, when they hear the words of your mouth. They will sing of the ways of the Lord, for the glory of the Lord is great. Though the Lord is on high, he attends to the lowly, but the proud he knows from afar. If I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve me from the anger of my foes. You extend your hand, and your right hand saves me. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. O Lord, your loving devotion endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your hands. I like that. Verse 6. Though the Lord is on high, he attends to the lowly. It's so true, too. Like, it's so evident. If you talk to anybody who knows God, they would affirm to this. Like, God is ridiculously powerful and high above all things. He created the entire universe, including uncountable stars with infinite space between them, all the atoms, all the animals, even us, everything. He created everything. He has infinite power, and yet he spends a lot of his time caring for people that can't care for themselves and just people that really desperately need his help. That's a good God. Before the gods? Yeah, it's just I think it's just an expression. It's kind of like I don't know. There could be something to that. Obviously, there are no other gods. They don't actually exist, but there are, forces of evil, demons and stuff. In a way, though, if you're declaring something before the gods, you're essentially saying it before all peoples, because every god has a people that he represents. So, like in the Bible, there's the God of this place, the God of that place. So gods kind of represent people. So in a way, if you're speaking to them, you're essentially speaking to all the people who have their gods that they worship. But also in another way, since small g gods are in the background represented by demons in most cases, you're declaring things to them as well. Like, I don't know what good it'll do. That's one of those unfathomable mysteries. Like, what is going to happen to all those spirits? Like, as far as we know, like from scripture, all the fallen angels and Satan himself will be cast into the lake of fire. And as far as we know also, they do not have the capability of being redeemed or saved from their fallenness, unlike humans who can repent. As far as we know, demons and fallen angels cannot. But anyway, I don't know. There were many gods back then. Learning, yeah. Yeah, I mean, elsewhere in the Bible, it essentially says gods are nothing, idols are nothing, because they're just things. Like, obviously, from the perspective of any religion, you could say this because it's just something in people's minds. But let's say you're so in the Christian worldview, we worship the one God. He reveals himself through the history of Israel, calling himself the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But from other people's perspective, they would probably just say like, "Oh, you mean that Yahweh God? Yeah, I've heard about that one. Yeah, it's just another one of those gods. I serve like 10 million of them. Like if you're from India, you might have several million gods or whatever. Even today, there's still gods, but this is just hearsay. But in reality, there only is one God, and he created all things. The rest of them are just deceptions. But if you're from one of those other religions and worship many other gods, that will mean absolutely nothing to you because your background tells you otherwise. And so it's just one of those things that, it's kind of hard to just express things in human words from one person's perspective and expect it to have any power or delivery. I mean, even though it's true, I can with confidence say there's only one God and he is the God of the Bible. That probably will not be received or have any power to someone who's not in the same belief system because they believe in other gods and they were raised to believe in them. So it's unfortunate though, but God is able to reveal himself even to people who live in darkness and who worship other gods. He is able to deliver people from that situation and prove that he is the only one. Shall have no other gods but me. I think that's right. No other gods before me is usually how it's rendered, but basically it's the same. Yep. Anyway. Psalm 139. But there's like that same expression in different places through the Bible. There could be others that say "but me" or something like that. Plus, a lot of it's just, it wasn't written in English. The Bible wasn't written in English, so if someone made a new translation from the Hebrew or whatever, they could render it that way, and that probably wouldn't be a bad way to say it. But me, it has the same general meaning. All right, Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You understand my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down. You are aware of all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, you know all about it, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go to escape your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle by the farthest sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness is not too dark. Even the darkness is not dark to you, but the night shines like the day. For darkness is as light to you. For you formed my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and I know this very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All my days were written in your book, and ordained for me before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is their sum! If I were to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand, and when I awake, I am still with you. O God, that you would slay the wicked, away from me, you bloodthirsty men. Who speak of you deceitfully, your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord, and detest those who rise against you? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them as my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my concerns. See if there is any offensive way in me. Lead me in the way everlasting. That's one of my favorite Psalms, just talking about how God knows everything about us, and he knows everything we're going to say or think or do before we do it. My belief is that he exists outside of time. I think time is some kind of dimension or bubble that he could perceive, but he's outside of that. And he's not confined to any of the known laws of creation because he created them. But yes, anyway. Proof of God, our Creator, is literally written in our DNA. It's everywhere. But all of that is meaningless if you don't want to believe it. Like, there's evidence everywhere. It's just people don't want to believe it, so they're just going to keep believing what they want to believe until God has mercy on them and opens their eyes. People are literally just blind. Like, some of them probably know that God exists, and they're being deceptive and lying about it, denying their own beliefs. Others are they just don't know. They've never heard, or they intentionally are, I don't know. But I think there is probably some awareness of God even in most people. They just kind of choose to block it out. But I think, most people would who are atheists would say, no, I absolutely don't believe in God. But I think in a lot of those people, there's some kind of intentional denial going on. Not all of them, but a lot of people just don't want to believe in anything that would limit what they could perceive as their freedom. And they see religious systems as some kind of power authority structure that they don't want to acknowledge, things like that. But more intricate than any computer code. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Leo, thanks for the lemon. All right. Psalm 143. O Lord, hear my prayer. In your faithfulness give ear to my plea. In your righteousness answer me. Do not bring your servant into judgment, for no one alive is righteous before you. For the enemy has pursued my soul, crushing my life to the ground, making me dwell in darkness like those long since dead. My spirit grows faint within me, my heart is dismayed inside me. I remember the days of old, I meditate on all your works. I consider the work of your hands. I stretch out my hands to you, my soul thirsts for you like a parched land. Selah. Answer me quickly, O Lord, my spirit fails. Do not hide your face from me, or I will be like those who descend to the pit. Let me hear your loving devotion in the morning, for I have put my trust in you. Teach me the way I should walk, for to you I lift up my soul. Deliver me from my enemies, O Lord, I flee to you for refuge. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your good spirit lead me on level ground. For the sake of your name, O Lord, revive me. In your righteousness bring my soul out of trouble. And in your loving devotion cut off my enemies. Destroy all who afflict me, for I am your servant. One of the things that I think a lot of people have trouble, like some people don't like Psalms because they get fixated on the ones like that bit right there at the very end where it says, cut off my enemies, destroy all who afflict me. And most people who are turned off by Christianity are turned off because of things like that, where talk about the violence in the Old Testament or these kind of attitudes where, instead of grace and forgiveness and love and stuff, they have these kind of things. I don't think the Bible teaches to have that attitude, but there are people who have that attitude. In the end, though, whether we wish for it or not, the enemies of God will be destroyed. And that's a very fearful thing. My opinion is that we shouldn't wish for that for others, even if they are our enemies. They will be destroyed if they are the enemies of God, but whether they are enemies or not is not particularly the measure of one's spiritual worth. But I think we should pray for our enemies, love our enemies, and pray for them, just like Jesus teaches. Hey, Sparkles, where there'll be Psalms, hymns tonight. I don't have any on the docket. It's kind of like if I see something that I recognize in the Psalms, I sometimes sing them, but so far I haven't noticed any lyrics that stand out as songs that I'm familiar with, but so I don't have any plans to do it. Who wrote the Psalms? Is that known? Yeah, it's known, but some of them just say on the very top, it's like of David or Psalm of David. David wrote quite a few of them, but not all of them. A lot of people just blanket say, yeah, David wrote the Psalms, but actually each one has a different author. Many of them were written by David, though, King David. There's, I don't know if they know all of the authors, but the David that slew Goliath, yep, same one. We're actually reading about King David right now. Actually, we kind of just finished. He's not quite dead yet, so there's a little bit more to read about King David, but generally he's like, we're going chronologically through the Bible, and he's just about done with his reign, and his son Solomon will take over shortly. But, right. Let's go on to Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer. He is my shield in whom I take refuge, who subdues peoples under me. O Lord, what is man that you regard him, the Son of Man that you think of him? Man is like a breath, his days are like a passing shadow. Part your heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains, that they may smoke. Flash forth your lightning and scatter them. Shoot your arrows and rout them. Reach down from on high, set me free and rescue me from the deep waters, from the grasp of foreigners, whose mouths speak falsehood, whose right hands are deceitful. I will sing to you a new song, O God. On a harp of 10 strings I will make music to you. To him who gives victory to kings, who frees his servant David from the deadly sword, set me free and rescue me from the grasp of foreigners, whose mouths speak falsehood, whose right hands are deceitful. Then our sons will be like plants, nurtured in their youth, our daughters like corner pillars, carved to adorn a palace. Our storehouses will be full, supplying all manner of produce. Our flocks will bring forth thousands, tens of thousands in our fields. Our oxen will bear great loads. There will be no breach in the walls, no going into captivity, and no cry of lament in our streets. Blessed are the people of whom this is so. Blessed are the people whose God is the Lord. I've been to Firenze, Italy, Florence, in English, seen Michelangelo's sculpture of David. Wow, that's cool. Very nice. Was it just like a vacation or something? And was it just Italy, or did you tour all of a bunch of Europe, or primarily just Italy? I've always thought it'd be cool to go to Europe someday, but I kind of doubt that it'll happen for me. But most of my traveling has not really been for tourism. It's been kind of missions related or things like that. I was in high school, studied one summer with college students. Oh, cool. That's a enriching experience, I'm sure. Something to add to your checklist of interesting things you've done in life. You should go. Well, only wealthy people can go. I don't have money to spend on Europe trips. But otherwise, hey, if I was super rich, I'd probably travel a lot, because I really do enjoy traveling. But I've never really traveled like spending a bunch of money. It's typically been like missions trips and things like that, where I'm either going with a church or something like that. So, and usually when you do something like that, you raise money and stuff. Like, I don't just have a bunch of money to spend on trips and stuff. But all right. Psalm 145. Am far from rich. Yeah, same here. I mean, technically, we're probably all rich compared to some people in the world. Like, I've heard it said, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's something like pretty much everybody in the United States is richer than 90, let's just say 90% of other people in the rest of the world. It might even be a higher percentage than that. I don't know. But so even if we complain about not having a very nice house or not the best car, like, to even have either of those things to the degree that we have, we're probably considered quite wealthy to the standard of other countries in the world. But yeah, the cost of living is so expensive here that even if you make a decent wage, it doesn't go very far. Where are you a missionary? I wouldn't call myself a missionary. Like, a lot of young people go on mission trips with their church when they're younger, and usually it's just a short thing, like a couple weeks or something like that. So I did a few of those, but I did live in Brazil for 6 months, and that was in addition to the mission stuff that I did there. And then I've been to Indonesia and pretty much just those two. I've set foot in a couple other countries, but I don't really count that. I did go to Peru, and was there for a while, but that was more to visit family who was there at the time. So, yeah. All right, let's read Psalm 145. I will exalt you, my God and King. I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. One generation will commend your works to the next, and will proclaim your mighty acts, the glorious splendor of your majesty, and I will meditate on your wondrous works. They will proclaim the power of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They will extol the fame of your abundant goodness and sing joyfully of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in loving devotion. The Lord is good to all. His compassion rests on all he has made. All you have made will give you thanks, O Lord, and your saints will bless you. They will tell of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might, to make known to man your mighty acts and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his actions. The Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in season. You open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and kind in all his deeds. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call out to him in truth. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will declare the praise of the Lord. Let every creature bless his holy name forever and ever. All right. 1 Corinthians 7 is the last chapter for today. Never been to Brazil or Indonesia. Must have been awesome. Would like to hear more on that sometime. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Brazil was very nice. I did experience quite a bit of poverty in both places. Like I was staying with people that had more wealth than the average, but we just like driving around or walking around, you saw a lot of poverty. But that was a long time ago. I have no idea what Brazil is like now. Like I think that was, let's see, how many years ago? Almost 20 years, like probably about 20 years ago is a long time ago. I'm sure things have changed one way or the other. Indonesia was the more recent one, but that was still like probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. And I enjoyed that a lot as well. It wasn't anything like what I thought. In fact, the culture there reminded me a lot of Latin America. Just looking around down the streets, things looked very similar, like people riding motorbikes everywhere, and just walls around most properties and stuff. It looked very similar to what I've seen in South America. The people were very friendly. Everywhere I've been, the people have been very friendly. And respectful. A lot of people thought when I went to Indonesia that I should be careful because, there's probably extremist Muslims there that'll kidnap me or something, but and that could be true somewhere in Indonesia, but the place I was at was quite safe, and everybody was very kind and respectful. Did you notice how so-called poor people are often happier than wealthy people? Yeah, for sure. Yep. It seems to be very common. I don't think wealth brings happiness at all. In fact, it probably brings more worries than anything else. But more worries and less regard for God. Like the more you're blessed in life, sadly, the less you feel, like the less you sense inside of you some need for God, because you feel like you can easily meet all your own needs. People that are starving or don't have much in life tend to be more aware of God's existence because they rely on Him to provide, everything in their life. That's kind of why I'm thankful that I'm not particularly wealthy, because I imagine that if I had everything provided for me in life, I might get lazy spiritually and just, have the luxury of not believing in God or not trusting in Him day by day. But since I've been through a fair number of difficult circumstances and tough life, I think that has been a blessing in the sense that it highlights my need for Him. Like I know I can't provide for myself or, make my life what I hope it to be just by my sheer willpower. It's by God's provision that I have what I have, and I'm thankful for that. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Now for the matters you wrote about, it is good to abstain from sexual relations. But because there is so much sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband. Likewise the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife. Do not deprive each other, except by mutual consent, and for a time, so you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you through your lack of self-control. I say this as a concession, not as a command. I wish that all men were as I am, but each man has his own gift from God. One has this gift, another has that. Now to the unmarried and widows I say this: it is good for them to remain unmarried as I am. But if they cannot control themselves, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. To the married I give this command, not I but the Lord. A wife must not separate from her husband, but if she does, she must remain unmarried or else be reconciled to her husband, and a husband must not divorce his wife. To the rest I say this, I, not the Lord: if a brother has an unbelieving wife, and she is willing to live with him, he must not divorce her. And if a woman has an unbelieving husband, and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified through his believing wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise your children would be unclean, but now they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves, let him go. The believing brother or sister is not bound in such cases. God has called you to live in peace. How do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband, or how do you know, husband, whether you will save your wife? Regardless, each one should lead the life that the Lord has assigned to him and to which God has called him. This is what I prescribe in all the churches. Was a man already circumcised when he was called? He should not become uncircumcised. Was a man still uncircumcised when called? He should not be circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing. Keeping God's commandments is what counts. each one should remain in the situation he was in when he was called. Were you a slave when you were called? Do not let it concern you. But if you can gain your freedom, take the opportunity. For he who was a slave when he was called by the Lord is the Lord's freedman. Conversely, he who was a free man when he was called is Christ's slave. You were bought at a price. Do not become slaves of men. Brothers, each one should remain in the situation he was in when God called him. Now about virgins, I have no command from the Lord, but I give a judgment as one who, by the Lord's mercy, is trustworthy. Because of the present crisis, I think it is good for a man to remain as he is. Are you committed to a wife? Do not seek to be released. Are you free of commitment? Do not look for a wife. But if you do marry, you have not sinned, and if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. But those who marry will face troubles in this life, and I want to spare you this. What I am saying, brothers, is that the time is short. From now on, those who have wives should live as if they had none, those who weep as if they did not, those who are joyful as if they were not, those who make a purchase as if they had nothing, and those who use the things of this world as if not dependent on them. For this world in its present form is passing away. I want you to be free from concern. The unmarried man is concerned about the work of the Lord, how he can please the Lord. But the married man is concerned about the affairs of this world, how he can please his wife. And his interests are divided. The unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the work of the Lord, how she can be holy in both body and spirit. But the married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world, how she can please her husband. I am saying this for your own good, not to restrict you, but in order to promote proper decorum and undivided devotion to the Lord. However, if someone thinks he is acting inappropriately towards his betrothed, and if she is beyond her youth and they ought to marry, let him do as he wishes. He is not sinning, they should get married. But the man who is firmly established in his heart and under no constraint, with control over his will and resolve in his heart not to marry the virgin, he will do well. So then, he who marries the virgin does well, but he who does not marry her does even better. A wife is bound to her husband as long as he lives, but if her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes as long as he belongs to the Lord. In my judgment, however, she is happier if she remains as she is, and I think that I too have the Spirit of God. All right. Oh, hey, Nature Four Seasons. That's a familiar username. I think we've crossed paths before. It's been a long time, but it sounds familiar. Anyway, that is it for this reading. Wow, that was intense, I know. That's one of the toughest passages for people, especially in the modern world. It's one that I'm kind of digesting myself. I was married, and I was forced to get a divorce when my wife left and was living with another man, which wasn't my choice. I would have stayed married, but I had to let her go. And so now that I'm free of that scenario, in a sense, I have not ever been in a relationship since. And I don't know that I don't know if I ever will be. I've pursued relationships with people that were special to me, but nothing ever materialized, and it seems that God might be preserving me for some kind of thing that he wishes to do. I don't know, but he has protected me from, my own temptation or ability to make poor decisions. He's spared me from those kind of heartaches, and doesn't mean that I'm far from perfect, of course, but I don't know. I've asked him many times to, if I'm supposed to be set aside for him and his kingdom, that he would take away any, desires to be with somebody. But I don't know. I have no idea, but I do take to heart what Paul says. He does qualify it. Some of the things that he says in that chapter, some of them are kind of his own instructions versus commands from the Lord. Doesn't mean that they're not useful, but it also means that, you know, you're not bound to not get married and stuff like that. Gray Wolf, howdy, howdy. I'm in love, wasn't looking for it, but really believe was God's plan. She feels the same. Cool. Yeah, wish the best for you in that. I've been in love before as well, and usually for me though, it's kind of one-sided, and so I just have to let people go. I don't seem to be the kind of person that most people take seriously in a relationship, I guess. They just want to be friends or whatever. Been friend zoned more times than I care to admit, but it's the way it is. I can only believe that it's God's will or protection or whatever. I don't know. But I'm not worried about it at this point. At this point, and for quite a few years, I've not been in a great position to provide for anybody or do anything useful, so it's probably for the best. What other platforms are you streaming on? Too many to list. I'm all about restreaming. Well, I can list them though. I'm on DLive, Kick, Trovo, Twitch, Soup, Pixel, YouTube, Bolt Plus, Arena, YouNow, Rumble, and then I upload my videos to Odyssey. I would stream there, but their tech sucks and it's super glitchy. Trust in the Lord our God. He knows what he's doing. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's times like when you're going through this stuff, it's natural to be discouraged or question things. But he definitely, we know that he knows what he's doing, but I'm not going to pretend that I haven't been in spots where I feel like everything's falling apart. Life sucks, like what's the point of, continuing if nothing works out, all this stuff. Been through all that. But in my heart, I know, I absolutely agree with you and know that he is worthy of trust, and he definitely knows what he's doing. Thankfully. All right. Well, I think that's it for this stream. I might do another reading because I'm not that tired yet, and I was kind of hoping to do at least 2 today, but I had that super long laundry that I was doing earlier. I have to wash all my clothes by hand and like hang dry them and all this stuff. It takes forever. It's one of my least favorite things to do, so I often put it off until I have like almost nothing to wear. But then it's like a huge giant chore, and that's what I did all day today. So not the funnest thing ever, but I'll probably tomorrow, or today, I guess later today, I'll probably do more woodworking. I was going to do that today if I didn't do the laundry, and I need to get going on that. I have a bunch of wood that I purchased, so I'm ready to start working on that stuff again. So hopefully I can be productive and get that stuff done quickly. And then maybe I'll have a free day where I can go on a hike this week or something. Maybe at the end of the week. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, I might be back on shortly to do one more reading before calling it a night. But yeah, that's probably what I'll do. So I will be back probably in about 20 minutes. Never actually timed myself, but it takes a while to get the stream finalized and then set up for the next one. And so yeah, I will be on in a bit. May the love and peace of the Lord be upon you. Thank you. That's a nice thing to say. Sounds like something Ordaf would say. I don't know if you've crossed his path, but he often says stuff like that. But yeah, something Paul would also say in Scripture. All right. See you, Sparkles, Grey Wolf, Dale, Nature 4 Seasons. I think that's, and Alamine, if you're still here. or LMN, anybody? Anyway, I will see you all later, and I'll be back on shortly.